Hello and welcome to What's Up with PRECorp podcast. This is Tim Belder in Marketing Communications at Powder River Energy, co-host Courtney Dixon, and today with us we have Cindy Wolin, the Safety and Loss Coordinator for Powder River Energy.
Welcome, Cindy. We're happy to have you here today. So the first thing we want to know, tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do here at Powder River.
Well, I'm originally from Texas, and I met my husband and the family on the ranch outside of Douglas, Wyoming, and I've lived here for over 45 years now.
Very good, very good.
And so what does the Safety Loss Coordinator do? Kind of what's your story? How did you come to PRECorp? Where'd you start out? You have a lot of experience, so don't short us on your story.
So I'm a journeyman lineman, and I was looking to come back to Wyoming to work as my training had taken me into other states. And I went through the apprenticeship in 5 different states. As an apprentice, I worked as actually on a project for PRECorp back in 2006 or 7 on the western side. And I remember going to our Gillette office and picking up the yard and picking up the different materials and equipment that we needed to do the job as a contractor. I didn't know what a co-op was back then, and had somebody told me and I understood, I would have really appreciated it because the values that I really like and they live. But having worked in other trades and industries while raising our children, nothing has compared to the co-op, and I really wished I had known so I'd had some other options as an apprentice lineman. PRECorp has an apprentice lineman scholarship program, and you can reach out to Tim to learn more about that aspect of PRECorp.
And so how did your role evolve through the years? I know when you started at Powder River Energy, you started out as the safety person, I guess is what the common terminology would be, but it's probably not correct. But in general, what does a typical year look like for you in terms of activity and that kind of thing?
So like you said, the safety person. When I first came here, even I had the idea that I was safety because that was my title, Safety and Loss Control Coordinator. And I had to learn right along with everybody else as our culture changed that safety didn't belong solely to me. It belongs to every individual. And so my typical day can be looking up regulatory items. I can get a call from the guys. They may have a question on, like the other day I got a picture of a rubber glove sent to me, and they said, Cindy, why does it look like this? And they just got it back from being tested, and it was white, right where the outer glove sat. And so we started researching to find out what was going on. So I could do research. I could be in the field. I can be preparing safety meetings, whether I'm leading that safety meeting as far as doing the actual teaching of the topic, or maybe I am coordinating bringing speakers in. I could actually be transporting materials from one location to another. I participate with our guys and gals with the hot trailer for educational purposes for our members, as well as at schools. We use the tabletop. There's so many facets to my job that I don't have time to get bored because nothing is the same every day. And this is a position where you've got to be really flexible because of the fact that a phone call can take you away. And then I also do a sad part, and that's incidents. And when you do an incident, that means something has happened on our property, so then there may need to be an investigation. And so I could be doing that as well. So I wear many hats.
Very good. So you just talked about, safety is everyone's and not just yours or mine or each of us as an individual. But how can our members continue to live that safety that we put out there as well?
I think electrical safety is really hard for people to understand because they can't see it. Okay? And so a takeaway I would say would be, when you're outside and you're going to be doing something, you need to be looking up. It's not your norm to do that, but just to give you an example, I have 2 granddaughters and my husband and 2 children, and 3 times on the same power line, I had to talk to my husband and my granddaughters. First, they put a shed under the power line. Why did you put the shed under a power line when you have 13 acres? Then they parked a trailer with a load of hay on it and a ladder under the power line. So I had to go out and have a discussion with them about power line safety. And you've got an aluminum ladder. You don't want to raise that aluminum ladder up into the power line. And the last one, when we got away from the hand square bells, we went to the round bells. What does my husband do? He puts a round bell feeder under the power line. And I look up from the house, see he's got that raised all the way up with a hay bell within feet of the neutral. And so I stop what I'm doing, I run up the road, and I'm pointing the whole time. And he's like, what? I go, did you look up? And there, we had to move everything again. So look up. Don't stack things underneath power lines. And then the other is our underground. There's a lot of underground and people don't realize it's there. And it's not just our utility, there's other utilities. And so if you're going to do any digging, and understand that we have a state program and a federal program, and that's 811. Call for your locate. And you want to utilize that, because if you don't utilize that and you get into somebody's utility, not just PRECorp's, you could get into a gas line, you could get into fiber optic, that cost is going to be on you to have those repairs done. And the worst cost could be if you're injured or killed, because then you're leaving family, and there's no answer for that. It's a devastation. So look up, don't get into it, call before you dig, because the monetary cost is nothing. A loss of life is everything.
And I know it seems like not a lot, thank goodness, but there are incidents or situations where people may, in their vehicle, come in contact with a pole, hopefully not a power line, but or a pad mount transformer or something. And what's the protocol for if that happens? Accidents happen. We're not here to point fingers. It could happen to anybody at any time for various reasons. What would be the general rule of thumb if you contact power equipment with your vehicle?
So if you're either in a vehicle or a piece of farm equipment, whatever, a backhoe, it doesn't matter. If you've contacted our line, stay in that equipment, stay in that vehicle. That is protecting you. If the vehicle or a piece of equipment becomes on fire, not the tires, but the unit itself becomes on fire, that would be the only time that you would think about having to exit the vehicle. And I say this because of the fact that you don't know if that line that is on your piece of equipment vehicle is energized or not. And the minute you touch that vehicle and touch the ground, you have now made yourself a path for that electricity to flow. And it's going to go the least resistance, and our body is the least resistance. So if you have to get away from a burning vehicle or a burning piece of equipment, you stand on the edge of the flooring and you jump away from the vehicle, but you jump in a manner that you can maintain your balance. And then you either hop with your feet together or you shuffle with your feet together, and you get over 30 feet away unless it's wet conditions. If it's wet conditions, you've got to get even further. so that you don't become what is called step potential and still can be hurt. As an apprentice, I had a fellow apprentice get into an energized cabinet, and he put a fuse in without thinking, and his foreman 50 feet away, because he was walking, taking natural steps, had the step potential hit him, and it knocked him unconscious. So that was 50 feet away. So you want to stay far away, and if you are an emergency provider, you don't go up to that vehicle until you have been told that line is dead and has been grounded, because you put yourself in jeopardy of not going home.
That's important, because I know a lot of times people want to go help.
We do.
They see an accident, but always look around at the scene before you even get close to it. And even during an emergency situation with a storm or some other down power line situation, stay away from it, call it in, let us know, and we'll get out there.
And that's the biggest thing, call it in. If you don't have our number, call 911, and they'll contact the local power company that's in that area. This isn't just PRECorp's area, this is across the board. And if you come upon an accident or a scene, you stay away, you call out to that person and to encourage them to stay in the vehicle and give them, reassurance that help is coming, because you don't want them to get anxious and try to step out.
All right.
Very good. So before we go, Cindy, what's one last thought you would like to leave our members with today?
You can't see electricity. You usually don't hear it. So I want you to remember to stay away from it, because it usually doesn't give you a second chance. And if it does, you're hurting a lot until you're healed, and that can take years. And it leaves lasting effects. So please look up, call before you dig.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. Thanks for joining us today. We know that what you had to share is important, not just for those of us who work here, but for our membership as well. So thank you for being here. And that's what's up with PRECorp today. Find us wherever you find your podcasts. Be sure to follow us on social media. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.